Hi, this is Corey from Hashed Health. Today we're going to take you through our latest build. Hashed Health has partnered with the Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulation, a member of the broader Illinois Blockchain Initiative, to build a blockchain-enabled, decentralized provider identity management platform. This system is a blockchain-based registry to streamline the sharing of physician credentials for interstate reciprocal licensure. What we've done is we've taken the agreement of the Interstate Medical Licensure Compact between 22 states, including Illinois, to grant expedited medical licenses based upon the good standing of a physician in one of the member states. For this build, we're using Tendermint, an open source blockchain platform that's ideal for consortium use cases. Tendermint employs the Tendermint consensus mechanism, otherwise known as practical Byzantine fault tolerance, allowing us a lightweight consensus blockchain mechanism, ideally for situations where all the nodes are known to each other. Before we take you through the platform, let's learn more about the use case. Receiving a medical license is a long and complex procedure. A physician must assemble a large body of information about their accomplishments. They have to prove they successfully completed medical school, residency program, received a board certification, prove a clean criminal background check, etc. This process can take 3 to 6 months to assemble that information and to have it reviewed by state personnel. To receive a medical license in another state usually requires that physician to complete the process all over again. That's where the Interstate Medical Licensure Compact comes in. They've defined a workflow for a physician to receive a medical license in a second state based upon the information they've submitted to the first state. The only problem is the lack of a technical platform that allows state medical licensing boards to securely share that information. This is the role of the blockchain. Our solution serves as a common transactional platform for multiple state medical licensing boards to securely and efficiently manage physician credentialing information at a national scale. Our workflow involves multiple parties, and it's a little bit complex, so let's take it step by step. Step 1 involves the provider, or the physician, who will log on to the Interstate Medical Licensure Compact website and submit an application for an expedited reciprocal medical license in a second state. This brings us to Step 2. The Interstate Medical Licensure Compact, or the IMLC, processes the application, passing on the provider information to what's known as the State of Principal Licensure. They do this by registering the application request on the blockchain. Once the application is posted to the blockchain, we come to Step 3. The State of Principal Licensure, or in our example, the state of Illinois, is responsible for verifying the applicant's eligibility. If the physician has a license in good standing in Illinois, then they're eligible to receive a reciprocal license in another state. The state of Illinois will now post to the blockchain 2 important pieces of information: a letter of qualification and a core data set on that physician. The core data set is pulled from the Illinois State Licensure Database and posted to the blockchain. The process is now halfway done, which brings us to Step 4. The recipient state, in our example, the state of New Hampshire, can now see the core data set posted to the blockchain and can pull that information from the blockchain to be added to their own state licensure database. They then submit new license information, granting the physician a new license number and expiration date. That new information is appended to the core data set on the blockchain. The process is now complete, which brings us to the final step. The provider has been issued a new second license, and the blockchain maintains an auditable, immutable record of multiple state licenses. The license numbers and expiration dates of each license in each state is recorded and shared among all the member compact states. Now that we've described the workflow, let's take a look at the platform in action. We'll go through step by step and watch as each transaction is posted to the blockchain. First, we'll go back to the main menu. The main menu contains tabs for each actor in the process, including providers, states, and the IMLC. We'll start with the IMLC tab, which houses the blockchain viewer. This view shows all blocks containing transaction data posted to the blockchain. Each block is color-coded for how recently that block was added to the chain. Gold for very recent transactions, or green for its transactions have been posted in the last few hours. Each block contains a set of information, including the block hash, the block height or the block number, the message, which indicates which step of the process has been committed, and finally the timestamp. Together, these blocks provide an auditable record of every step in the process that we've described. We'll now slide the blockchain viewer to the side, offering you a split screen view of the blockchain viewer and the application interface, allowing you to see how transactions are posted to the blockchain in real time. Now let's watch the platform in action. First, we'll go to the provider screen, logging on as a new provider to complete a new application for a reciprocal medical license, which brings us to the application page. This screen tracks every step in the process, beginning with the application. This screen also contains two other pieces of important information. The first is the provider core data set, the essential pieces of information for the entire workflow. It identifies the provider, NPI number, demographic information, as well as specialty board certification and licensure information. It is this data set which is moved from one state to another to complete the process. The other vital part of the screen is the application itself. For the purposes of the demo, the application will auto-complete itself as we scroll through it. It is composed of essential questions which the IMLC requires the physician to answer in order to receive a reciprocal license. Once the application is complete, we are ready to submit. As we hit the Submit button, the application updates. First, the application progress indicator moves to application submitted to the IMLC. Also, we see that a new block has been added to the blockchain with a new block height and timestamp, with the message indicating that an application has been submitted to the state of Illinois. To go to the next step of the process, we'll first log out of the provider screen. Taking us back to the home screen, we will now select the State tab and choose the state of Illinois, or the state of principal licensure. This brings us to the admin console, which provides an overview of all existing, pending, and completed applications. We can see that the provider who just applied for a reciprocal license is waiting. This contains a summary of the application, including whether the applicant is qualified, the date the application was submitted, whether or not there's a core data set available, and whether or not a letter of qualification is ready. To process, we click the Review button. This view contains the core data set, which is vital information on the provider pulled from the Illinois State Licensure database. It also includes an eligibility report, which simply flags whether or not the applicant is eligible as per the rules set forth by the IMLC. Finally, we have to attest that the state has obtained an FBI criminal background check and that the provider is clear of all disqualifying actions. Click here to attest. Once these steps have been completed, we're ready to approve the application. Now we'll click the Approve button. This returns us to the admin console. We can see that the application is no longer listed because it has been completed. Also note on the left that a new block has been added to the blockchain. This shows that the application has been approved by the state of Illinois with the associated block data and timestamp. We'll now go to the next step of the process. First, we'll log out of the Illinois admin console. Returning to the home screen, we will press the State tab. Now we'll take on the role of the secondary state, in this example, New Hampshire. This gives us an admin's console specific to New Hampshire. If we go to the Pending tab, we can see that the application that has been approved by Illinois is waiting for us. We're now ready to review and approve the application for reciprocal licensure. As before, we click the Review button. For the secondary state, there are two important steps. The first is to pull the provider's core dataset from the blockchain and add it to the secondary state's database of licensure. We can see the core dataset as before. This has now been pulled from the blockchain and added to New Hampshire's licensure database. The second important action is for the state of New Hampshire to issue the provider a medical license. By clicking the Issue button, the state will issue a license number and expiration date. That information will be posted to the blockchain, appended to that provider's core dataset. Let's click the Issue button now. We can see that the application is no longer pending. And on the left, we can see that a new block has been added to the blockchain, indicating that the secondary license has been received and issued, along with the associated block information and the timestamp. The process is now complete. We will log out of the New Hampshire screen, returning to the home screen. We will select the Provider tab and choose an existing application. This shows that the application has been successfully completed, moving through all required steps. Scrolling down, we can view the provider's core dataset that exists on the blockchain. This includes the original information from the state of Illinois, and now the recipient state information, which appends the core dataset with new licensure information from the secondary state. This completes our demo for the Decentralized Provider Identity Management Platform for reciprocal state licensure. HashedHealth is continuing to work on additional blockchain use cases in the provider identity space, including not only licensure, but also physician credentialing, privileging, and insurance provider directories. We invite you to learn more at www.hashedhealth.com and invite physicians and stakeholders to reach out to us to become involved in this ongoing work. Thank you.